So it's 9:05 in Central Europe. I think we can definitely start. I love to see how many people we are already. Let's start with a quick introduction. So today there is the core team of BrickBoy. We have Thomas, we have Lodovico, and there is me, Matteo. And before speaking about BrickBoy and a brief overview of our background, I want to say that we would like to keep this A.M.A of around 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, but we can definitely see how it goes. At the beginning, to break the ice, we will have a conversation between us, basically, where we discuss the questions that the community you ask to us in the comments on Kickstarter, on social media, and also on the Tally form, so that the main questions are answered and discussed already, and then we will open the microphones of the audience, and you can ask all the questions you want. So let's start. So we are. Let me introduce first Thomas and Ludovico. Thomas is the mastermind behind BrickBoy and also the tech guy that is working on the magic to fit every component within the tiny Lego set. Ludovico is taking care of the business part, the emails, the newsletter, the updates, and I also do that together with relationship with partners, creators, and all that part as well. Ludo, Thomas, you want to say hi very quickly?
Hi, hello everyone, and thanks for being here. Looking forward to hearing your questions.
Yeah, hello everyone. Nice to have all of you here, and thanks to Matteo for the introduction. It was already really clear, and I'll be answering other questions if there are.
So we are based in Europe, in Switzerland, in Canton Ticino, mainly. At the moment, I'm not in Switzerland. As you can see, I have a bright background. I'm traveling right now, so I'm in a different time zone. But yeah, the team is based in Switzerland. We have a background in hardware, but as well in software and product design. Ludovico and I studied together innovation management, so we have experience also with managing, launching products, startups, idea generation, and so on and so forth. While Thomas clearly has deep knowledge of all the technical skills that are required for this project. And they are very crucial. The origin of BrickBoy comes from our passion for Lego, retro gaming, and all the gaming industry, as well as doing modders and stuff like that. We want to bring the Lego Game Boy to life in the simplest and most fun way possible. That's why, starting from the summer, we start creating this project. At the beginning, it was simple ideas, but very soon, after our first post on Reddit that went viral, we decided that this could be actually a project, and we should focus 100% of our time on that. So the core idea was well defined at that point, and was to keep the Lego build intact, so without big changes, and basically provide to everyone a kit that installs in about 10 minutes with no soldering, no external tools or complicated steps. Something that everyone can do. And indeed, our motto is, if you can build Lego, you can build BrickBoy, because we really want to tell everyone how easy it is to install BrickBoy to the Game Boy set. Ludovico, Thomas, do you want to say anything else before we move forward to the other topics and questions?
Yeah, maybe a couple of words on this. So, regarding the choices that have, the principles, let's say, which we have had since the beginning, I think I want to stress even more the importance that the fun element had for BrickBoy. So there are other attempts from the community of doing something similar, but I think what the main difference is that we are really trying to prioritize the fun factor while mounting it, while building it, while using it. So it's not just about enabling, the Lego set to come to life and to make it, playable. It's also about continuing the mounting experience that you have while building the initial set. And this is why we have prioritized, for instance, maintaining as many original pieces from the Lego bricks, the Lego pieces, as many as possible. So there were easier ways to do some integrations, but in our view, it was extremely important to keep the main character, meaning the actual Lego set, intact as much as possible. So this is what prioritized our design decisions mostly, I would say. And this is very important because as a consequence, we have not chosen the simplest or the cheapest solution. We have made choices based, again, on the full experience, while trying to make it available and attractive for the widest possible audience. So this is not a tool for technical people. This is not a tool for modders. People who have electronic experience, for instance, they can do it themselves. What we have tried to do here is making this experience available to the widest possible audience. So yeah, that's the only thing, and maybe I wanted to stress a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I'm a bit excited about this this first event. So I missed some important information. So thank you for pointing this out. It's very important. And we are indeed tackling the wider community, and we are very, very happy with the BrickBoy community that is forming every day, is growing every day. The campaign is going very well, and we are generally happy with the response of the community. That has been active, helpful with suggestions and feedback, and most of those suggestions and feedback are already taken into consideration. And as far as possible, we are trying to listen to everyone. Yeah, we think that we are very motivated about the strong participation that really helps to move BrickBoy and the project us to move forward. So yeah, thank you very much, also for being here, clearly,
and for believing in us.
Yes.
Should we start maybe to
Okay.
take like some questions? Maybe we can start from some questions from the Tally survey we did. We collected more than 60. So thanks everyone for taking the time to vote and to actually write additional notes. You guys sent a bunch of questions and also a bunch of messages directed directly to us of encouragement, appreciation, and so on. So this is truly motivating. Thanks a lot. Do you want to start taking some questions, Matteo and Ludo, and then maybe we can, see if anyone from the audience has some.
Yeah. So one of the most common questions clearly is about the games that BrickBoy can play. So this is very important. Clearly, of course, we need to be careful with our steps. We will include freeware and homebrew titles that we can legally provide. For the copyrighted games, everyone can add their own legal backups. BrickBoy is indeed behind the curtains is an emulator, and we use RetroArch as the base. We choose it because it's stable and very customizable. So I think an important feature or characteristics of BrickBoy is the fact that runs on the Raspberry platform, which means that system is open and easy to customize. So it's a friendly platform for everyone.
Sorry to interrupt, Matteo. Just on this point, I think it's quite interesting to point out the reasons why. For instance, we have decided to use the Raspberry Pi in this ecosystem and emulation and so on. And I think this has a lot to do with the flexibility and longevity of this system. So we didn't want to just do something custom made that basically couldn't last many years, couldn't be extended or modded by the community, or was limited in its capabilities. So the Raspberry Pi is like one of the biggest ecosystems of its kind. It has a huge community, and as such, it cannot just do many things enabled by the component, by the hardware itself, but it can actually also benefit from continuous updates, releases, compatibility of huge set of programs. And this is why underneath, maybe I can turn my camera a little bit and show you some details of what it means. Let me try to do that. Okay. Can you see it? Or is it blurred?
I think there is the blurred background,
but it's the
so
zoom
we cannot
filter,
see it.
most likely. Yeah.
Is it the zoom filter? Let's see. That's strange.
Your finger were clearly
or the iPhone. The iPhone camera might have that as well. Maybe not.
No, it doesn't. Look, let me turn the camera and I can turn the phone. It's maybe quicker. Okay, so yeah, probably you can see it, right?
No, we cannot see very well.
Okay, yeah.
Wait,
sorry.
there is some useful suggestion.
Yeah, I will do it from here, like this.
Okay.
So someone is saying we can disable the filter maybe in the control center.
In the control center.
Let me see. Sorry, don't use Zoom very frequently. Thankfully, because I hate it. I don't find it in the control center, but if you guys have further guidance, I will read the comments. In the meantime, I will show here. So basically, this is like just one of the more recent iterations of the external chassis, like of the basically cartridge, right? Piece. So this is naked, like meaning it doesn't really have the full set of components inside, but I just want to show that basically this is just the Raspberry Pi, right, with no other components inside. And as you can see, it perfectly fits. And on the side, like here, for instance, you can have access to HDMI ports and USB ports, for instance, to connect the external cartridge reader. So given Matteo was going through questions, and the first one was about games, which games you can load on it. A common question is about understanding better, like the most popular add-on, which at the moment is the cartridge reader. So with emulation in general, like retro gaming, you can legally play backups of your own games or freeware games, homebrew games, and so on. But it's actually not that simple, meaning you can get cartridge readers, for example, for Game Boy Classic or Color or Advance, to connect them to your computer. But then you need a software which is not always easy to use. You need drivers often, and you need to know what you're doing. Basically, it's not really plug and play in most cases. And the plug and play ones we have seen, they are the one with the worst compatibility. So we tried basically to get the best cartridge reader on the market and simplify its use with BrickBoy. So it's basically this little device. And this is an example game I have, right? This is a normal cartridge. You can just plug it in like this. And then you use a USB cable that goes from the reader to the BrickBoy cartridge, basically. So this is an external cable. So it's ugly. It's not convenient. You're not going to go around with the cartridge reader, right? You're just going to use it at home. So the way we envision it is that since the cartridge reader itself doesn't really fit, because if you look at the this is the classic, this is the essential kit installed, right? And as you can see, it can barely fit. It's not easy to, there is no extra space for supporting cartridge readers directly with all the additional components we have in there, which are a lot. So how do we make it fit? Well, externally, like this. However, since we did quite a lot of work on the orchestration software, the way it operates is that you don't need to keep it connected. You just basically plug it in with a cable, you connect it. The first time you want to play a given cartridge you own, and the system reads the cartridge, copies the game, it caches it basically locally on the SD card included in BrickBoy, and then you can unplug it. So you don't need to keep it connected. So it's like a tool which is extremely convenient, extremely simple to use for loading cartridges, but it doesn't need to stay connected afterwards. So once if it is connected with a game and you turn on BrickBoy, it starts playing normally. So you don't see any of this. You will see just a notification saying, now if you want, you can disconnect your external cartridge reader because the game is already loaded. So you disconnect it and the game keeps playing. The next time you turn the device off and on, it stays cached. So it is already there. And there is basically no additional need to connect it again. You may want to do it regardless. For example, if you want to clean up some space and you want to import the game again, or maybe because you want to import or export your savings, right? But that's basically it. So it's an extremely simple tool to use, and we made it much simpler than what's on the market. But you don't have the extra bulk of the cartridge reader and all this kind of stuff when you don't need. After all, we are in 2025, so you don't really need to keep the cartridge in. So you can have the convenience of modern electronics, but to give you that feeling of the console we all loved decades ago. So that was our aim while designing this. And additionally, I want to stress that the cartridge reader is not something we were planning to do. It's something that we actually worked on. We started working on it after a week, approximately, from when the campaign started, because there were so many comments of people asking for it. So this is why we are doing some changes to basically simplify the way you can connect it and make sure, the USB port you need is available and so on. Yeah, that's it. Sorry for the this parenthesis. Matteo, you can continue.
No, absolutely. It's very important, and it has been asked. As a recap, the cartridge reader is an add-on you can find on Kickstarter. It works with original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance cartridges. And just a recap on how it works. It's basically plug and play. You connect the reader, you insert the cartridge you own, and start playing. And after the first read, the BrickBoy stores a local copy of the game, so the reader does not need to stay attached, basically. It's compatible with BrickBoy in handheld mode. Not really with the arcade mode. Arcade mode is a different version. I don't know if you are familiar with that. It's something that we launched very recently as an add-on. It's a collaboration that we did with Lego 7, and is selling very, very well. So if you haven't seen it, you should have a look of the great work that this creator, Lego creator, has done. And what is it basically? It's an alternative Lego build that turns BrickBoy into a desk mini arcade. It includes some new pieces for the build, around 100 pieces, if I remember correctly. An internal mini HDMI HDMI adapter, an upgraded cartridge hardware, and wireless. Thank you, Thomas.
I made it.
Have it.
I made it. Thanks for the suggestions on how to disable the blur. Yeah, it's this one.
And now it's unplugged.
While for scale, this is the Game Boy, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It apart for the Game Boy games, it support also arcade titles, running always on RetroArch. And the cool part of this is that it is reversible, right? So you have the Lego Game Boy set. You can install a BrickBoy kit as an handlet, right? And then you can build the arcade, and then you can rebuild back the handlet Lego Game Boy whenever you want. So it's really possible to move from one version or the other, or like Thomas did, you can have both, which is even better.
Yeah, you just need more. You need more sets, right? Since you jumped straight to the arcade edition, maybe let me comment a little, add some more things there. So I think reading comments about it, I think it was widely misunderstood on some aspects. So maybe I want to clarify better a little bit how it works and what it can do, and what the add-on includes. So first of all, I've seen there was a question here now in the comments saying that it was asking if those add-ons can be added by anyone to the current pledges. Yes, you can do. So it's extremely simple to do. I don't remember now exactly the process, but it's written also in the frequently asked questions on Kickstarter on our page, on our FAQs on how to do it. But basically, you need to edit your pledge, and you need to basically update the selection of the add-ons to include the new ones if you want. Many people did, especially for the cartridge reader and for the arcade. The arcade add-on it does not include the electronics of. So you don't get a second BrickBoy basically, because the idea is that you can reuse the existing electronics that we give you with the gamer and collector kits, and you can change your build. We give you the full set of Lego bricks that you need to add, because it's actually bigger. I don't know if you can see it well from the camera. Let me show you again, but it's actually bigger. It's approximately, I would say, 1/4 bigger than the original one. It's extremely fun to build. We worked with this expert Lego 7 fan designer. So he was chosen by Lego for basically making a community set part of the official ones by Lego. So he's not like a random creator. Is actually someone with a lot of experience, and he built for us this alternative build. And so we include the approximately 100 Lego pieces needed in addition to the original set to build it like this. You can go back and forth as many times as you want, right? And we also give you a printed booklet with the Lego instructions. And other than this, the electronics, this is what I wanted to say, is the same. So for example, the display, you see the display module here is the same as the one you have there. Also the cartridge, this cartridge, this is the essential one, so it's a bit thicker, but the gamer and collector looks like this. So it's much thinner and it basically fits in there. So it's made to fit. And there are some differences in the hardware spec. So we made additional both software and hardware changes. So the software changes were to basically adapt to the needs of the different builds. So one difference is that here on the original one, of course, the buttons just work, there are some changes that we have made, minimal changes, but in this one, they don't. So for example, you see the buttons here. They are not really clickable. They're just here because they look nice. Why? For a number of reasons. First is that you see how thin this part is. The mechanics needed, the pieces needed to make them like floating basically and clickable didn't fit in here, but it would have been useless anyway, because you are never going to play arcade here with those buttons. It's the screen is small, so you can use it. It's actually, the content is there, it's playing, it looks really cool, but it's very inconvenient to use. And also it's missing buttons. So this is why you need a wireless Bluetooth controller with the arcade mode. And the one we think fits best is this one. This is from 8BitDO, so it's very high quality one. You can actually buy it yourself, on Amazon or wherever. You don't need to buy it via our add-on. We give this one also with an add-on, which includes it for convenience, the controller, and also a Lego stand. You see, this is made of Lego pieces. So we also give you the pieces to build this. This is made to fit it. It looks really nice next to it. And there is also a plate. You see this plate, which via UV engraving, we basically are going to ship it with your name on it. So you can put whatever you want in there, or whatever text fits. This is made to basically look nice next to it. For example, if you want to keep it under your TV in the living room, and it supports more than one controller. So you can actually connect more than one and play with arcade games, not with Game Boy games, but with arcade games with your friends. So you can connect, for instance, 2 controllers via Bluetooth, and it just works. You don't need this one. Again, we've seen from the comments that many people have already spare controllers from maybe, PS4, PS5, Xbox, and so on. These are all compatible. Most Bluetooth controllers are compatible. You can find also cheaper ones than this, This one we have chosen. You can Google it, and you will see that the add-on price is actually really good for what it includes. But you can get a cheaper one. Like there are some that maybe cost $10, and it's compatible as long as it's a standard Bluetooth controller. Other than this, the changes we did are basically making the HDMI port exposed so you can access it. And there is also an mini HDMI, because the Raspberry Pi has a mini HDMI to HDMI adapter. So you don't need extra adapters. You just need an HDMI cable to connect it to your TV. And then it has power, of course, so you can connect it. It has a cable to connect to power, because I mean, you don't need to use this via battery. It doesn't make any sense, right? Why would you play it? Why would you keep it under your TV and then use its built-in battery? Theoretically, you can. I'm just saying it doesn't make much sense. It emulates like most arcade systems. The emulator we are using, in case you're interested, is called FB Neo. And something like you may have seen it in our launch video that we have tested, for instance, is Metal Slug, which is one of the most popular arcade games, but it works with most. A change we had to do was actually adding a heatsink to the Raspberry Pi to basically make sure it can work under very heavy load for longer periods of time. Because so this is something else you get as part of the add-on. So basically the basic kit that you order via in your pledge is going to be a variation of it if you also have this add-on, and is going to basically have this heatsink, so that you know, if you play this and had you know, a couple of Bluetooth controllers and you know, connected to your TV, maybe you also have it connected via Wi-Fi, and you start playing for extended periods of time, and maybe it's summer or it's hot outside, it's going to warm up. And you don't want your game experience to get worse. So this is why the heatsink in that case is extremely needed. While for the Game Boy use case, since emulation for Game Boy is extremely lighter than arcade and some more advanced arcade systems, you don't really need it. So this is already, this is something else which you get as part of it and as part of the technical differences, basically. I think this clarifies already many questions, but if there are more on the arcade, maybe we can take some.
There are some already, Thomas. You were already pretty clear, but maybe we can answer these two good questions from Jimmy and Andrew. Jimmy is asking that he understands that the electronics parts of gamer and collector are the same as the arcade on, even if actually, as Thomas just said, there are some differences. But the question is about the HDMI. So he is asking if we are able also with the other kits to do output to TV through mini HDMI. This is the first question, and the second is really similar. So Andrews is asking if the collector edition also includes the HDMI out.
Yeah, there was also another question I saw earlier about the resolution of arcade, if I remember correctly. So let me answer all of them. So let me make it very clear. So this system is extremely flexible, but you can do 1,000 different things with it. But we are not going to facilitate all of them officially as part of the product that we are packaging and shipping. Why? Because while you could do many different things, we have to, well, first we have to prioritize because we have many different questions and feature requests. We cannot do everything. Basically, we try to do as much as possible, but we cannot implement literally everything. So an example of this is the HDMI output on the Game Boy, on the handheld configuration, right? So if you build it as the handheld, but you surely have the HDMI out with the, if you have the add-on, you know for sure you have the HDMI output, right, available. So, you know, the issue is the following. Look at this. Let me turn the camera again. This is the Game Boy. So the HDMI is going to be on this side. once the cartridge is in. And if you look at the profile of this, the HDMI will be here. So it will basically be approximately down there. Let me check better. It's actually lower, yeah, like here approximately. Of course, between those two pieces. What's the problem? That basically you will need to replace this with something else to make it available. And we don't plan to do it because we want to use Lego original pieces only. And we don't want to increase the prices for everyone for a use case which is extremely niche. Also, we don't understand really why it will make sense. Like, we understand some people will like it. I get it. I'm just saying at scale, looking at the majority of users, I don't think they want to play, the Game Boy while there is a cable connected to their TV. So something that we think works better, and that indeed we already have it working internally, and we are going to release it hopefully in the coming days as a stretch goal, so for free to everyone, is the support of streaming your video to your smart TV wirelessly via Wi-Fi. So we have two ways to do it. One is video only. Keep in mind the kit supports Bluetooth speakers, so you can connect an external speaker, and it has a quite loud speaker internally. But the one way is like video only, and it supports most TVs from 2010 on. So basically all of them, most of them, right? While the other mode that is also included supports both audio and video. And so you can have the full experience on your TV via HDMI to your soundbar, for instance, and so on. And that one works on more recent TVs from major brands, like I would say Samsung and LG from, let's say, 2015 on. So we're trying to be compatible with as many TVs as possible. For most TVs, modern TVs, you will be able to have the full experience. If you have an older model, it should still work, but the difference will be that it may be video only in the worst case. Now, what's the difference compared to HDMI? Why don't you do it wirelessly with the arcade, for instance, you may ask? And the reason is very simple, it's latency. Like with the streaming, while you are playing, if the TV is your main interface, meaning you play while watching the TV for playing, you don't want lag. You don't want to have latency of maybe 200, 300 milliseconds. You want to be really quick. So for doing that, you need the cable, you need the HDMI. While the Wi-Fi works well, even if there is some latency, not for playing, because you're going to play while keeping it in the hand. So you're going to watch the screen here, the display here. But it's nice because maybe you want to share it on your living room while you have your friends over, what you're doing, like your gameplay. So this is the use case, and this is why we think this makes much more sense, and why we are not going to facilitate the HDMI here on the handheld mode. We just don't think it makes much sense compared to the wireless streaming, and we don't think the majority of users would use it. I think there were other questions, right, on the arcade and the HDMI. The resolution, right? So someone was asking about the resolution.
Yes.
So where to start from? Let me try to keep it high level. If there are more technical questions, feel free to ask me. I'm very, very technical, so you can ask me any question. But to keep it simple, the built-in display has a given resolution. It's 320 by 240. The resolution we push out the HDMI is higher than that, but let's say for no good reason. Meaning, while it is higher, so there are some use cases maybe in the future where we may want to have software updates to use it for something else. Right now, for arcade, we are not aware of any popular arcade machine that uses resolutions higher than 240p. So it's very low. This is the resolution we already have in the internal display. So on the HDMI, it's going to be higher, approximately almost twice higher. Not exactly twice, but it's It's significantly higher, but it's not going to be needed and used in full, really. So you're going to play it at full resolution for what the most popular arcade platforms originally supported. Any resolution higher than that will not be useful, really. And also, higher resolution means the device, the Raspberry Pi and our electronics, is going to get warmer. So you don't really want it for a number of reasons. And this is why the heatsink is actually needed, in the arcade. So you see, there are many things that sum up in the cost, from the design royalties to the creator to the pieces, the additional printed booklet, the not just the heatsink itself. The heatsink by itself, the electronic component, is not expensive. The problem is that we need to have a different process in place in the industrialization phase to make sure we support that revision. So it needs to be justified and needs to be supported also on the software side. We have, for instance, a dedicated BrickBoy menu where you can basically manage your device and everything. And there is a different version of it and many more features there for the arcade mode that we had to implement and that were not initially planned. So this is all funded and supported by, those backers who are basically including the arcade add-on.
Maybe, Thomas, another question we could answer that was pretty frequent regards the Expo mode, which is related to the arcade and to the collector's edition. So just as a brief summary, what is this Expo mode? It's a special display feature that lets you have the screen powered on in a continuous way. So it lets you show an animation or games mainly for display. So you want it, if you want on your shelf, this particular feeling of the animation going, perfect for collectors, let's say. And we have two different Expo modes, one for the collector's edition and one for the arcade edition. And many questions on this came whether if I buy a gamer kit that has the arcade edition as a feature, as an add-on, do I get also the handheld Expo mode? So maybe we could give some clarity on this as well, Thomas.
Sorry, I missed your question because it was answered to some people in the chat. Can you repeat the last question? Yeah.
No, my point was, let's make clear the difference between the Expo mode of the handheld version and the arcade version.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we have basically a control center, if you want. Let's not call it menu because it's quite diminutive. While it's a very big piece of software, actually. The control center of BrickBoy lets you do a bunch of things, including, for instance, connecting your Bluetooth controllers or changing the game you want to load. But also you can change the mode if you have the arcade mode from arcade to handheld and back. You are supposed, for good reasons like fitting and so on, to select the right one. So if you have the arcade add-on, theoretically, yes, you can play arcade on your handheld build, and you can connect a Bluetooth controller there and you can play. But trust me, because I tried, the screen is really small for those games. So you can do it, but it's not really an enjoyable experience after 30 seconds maybe. So it's fun, but it doesn't make much sense. So from the menu, you can change it. And let's say you are in the arcade mode. So you have an Expo mode there, so exposition mode, and there are some there are defaults, but so it works by out of the box. You don't need to configure it. It's going to work on the first time you boot the device. So you can keep it, on the shelf or under your TV, and you can enable it to make sure it randomly plays on the screen things by itself. So the way it works is that basically, in general, it's the same logic. So it records some screen sessions. So some playing, some gameplays. So some sessions you have on the screen. It detects when there is some activity, so it doesn't record when you're not pressing buttons or anything, but every now and then it records the screen. It has a bunch of recordings, and it randomly basically plays them again when the device is idle in Expo mode, with or without audio, so you can choose. And this is nice, and it can show you different content on the screen for a very long period of time. And it's not going to be the same because the recordings, the resolution, the animations, the way you detect the idle system or not are different. So it's all software based, but it's like made for the arcade use case or made for the handheld use case, and they don't exactly match. So can you use, so if a question could be, okay, so let's say I have the gamer, so I don't have the Expo mode included, but I have the arcade add-on. So I have the arcade Expo mode. Can I use in the handheld build, with the handheld build, the Expo mode from my arcade edition? And the answer is yes and no. So you cannot have the arcade, you cannot have the Game Boy Expo mode there because it's included with collector, but you can have the arcade Expo mode running there if you change the mode and force it to the arcade mode. There could also be software mods from the community that support it. I'm just saying, for the way we have designed the product and we envision it to work with the official release, it's going to be like this. But since we are using basically an open configuration and we are trying to make everything we can, also on the software side, to facilitate mods. So if people want to see something which we don't officially support because maybe there is not enough demand for it, or maybe we don't think it's good for the product, but some users like it, we expect community mods to be made for it. It's totally possible. We are not against it. Actually, we like the idea. Why not? There is something else, which is that the collector kit doesn't just give you the Expo mode. It gives you other things, such as the Lego pieces and the connections needed to make sure that the device can stay, connected to a cable in a nice looking way, while it's maybe on the shelf, not used, while the Expo mode is running. And this is very important because the Expo mode is meant to run for a long period of time. So you can keep it there for potentially months and years running every now and then. So it's not going to work via the battery. It's going to run out of battery in, I don't know, in a few hours, similarly to gameplay. So it doesn't make sense. So you need to keep it connected to a cable, and you don't want to compromise the design of it while doing it. So the collector edition does it with modifications to both the cartridge and the Lego pieces. And so you are going to basically be able to keep it connected nicely. The gamer doesn't. So you can have the Expo mode from arcade there, but does it make sense? Well, not much in my opinion. So yeah, it's a bit confusing maybe, but this is because of the different configurations that we decided to do to build with the gamer and collector. And the arcade actually came later as an idea, so it adds some complexity there. But you have to think that the way you plug in the device in the handheld case has nothing to do with the way you connect it with the arcade, because the arcade has much more space available. And keep in mind, with the arcade, we basically built it for BrickBoy. So it's not official. It's not an official Lego set. It's like unofficial, coming from, sure, I already know the Lego fan creator, but it's we could basically adapt it to our needs. While the official Lego Game Boy kit, we couldn't and didn't want to change too much, not to compromise its design. It's already kind of perfect, you don't want to break it apart and change half pieces to fit BrickBoy. You need to change as few as possible. So also for keeping it powered, you need to make some small changes. And with the gamer, you don't have that included. The Lego pieces actually they cost a lot. So also for the 100 pieces of the arcade edition, I think those people who think it's expensive is because they don't have ideas. They don't have any idea on how much the Lego pieces cost on the market. But go on Bricklink, for instance, which is the main website showing it. Try to put like a single piece, and you can see how much they cost. And these are quite special pieces, and in some cases they are not very common. So yeah, so it adds up.
Thank you, guys. You really handle difficult questions. About the Expo mode, of course, I think you share a lot of information. Maybe it's better to do a recap. Very simple. As Thomas said, it's possible with BrickBoy. It's possible to do many things, but what came out of the box, it's very simple for the Expo mode. There are two distinct Expo mode with different purpose. The collector kit, which is the handheld version, has the handheld Expo mode. The arcade edition include the arcade Expo mode. So if you use a gamer kit and you have the arcade mode, you gain the arcade Expo mode. But when you switch back to the handheld gamer, you don't have by default the handheld Expo mode. So it's not available. Of course, if you have the collector, it's available with the collector and it's available with the arcade add-on. So yeah, I hope this make things more straightforward for most of the people that won't stress too much the software with mods and other things. Okay, let's. I think we can move forward. I just want to say that yeah, I'm traveling right now, but listening to Thomas and Ludovico really want me to go back in Switzerland and play with you sitting on a couch. So yeah, I'll be back soon. And let's move forward maybe with the last questions before asking again to the audience here to ask questions, so be ready. I see that we have plenty of questions about the plans after the campaign and also the delivery timeline. And now there are 5 days remaining, more or less. So we want to focus on the campaign for these remaining days. It's very exhausting to keep up with everything on a Kickstarter campaign with a community so active and everything. So we still want to be 100% focused on that. After the campaign is over, we will closing all the pledges. We will finalize the components with suppliers that we are in touch already with. And at that point, we are able to start production, assembly, and then fulfillment. Of course, the goal is to deliver according to the schedule that is shown on Kickstarter. So around March. But most importantly, what we will for sure do is share frequent updates. So we want to share production photos, assembly progress, shipping milestones, and so on and so forth. Also, we are in touch with different creators, influencers on social media like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Maybe you saw some collaboration already with them. They have the prototype right now, and they are testing it. They really helping us to improve the product as well. So we will for sure do something with them, likely a demo day in the coming weeks when the software is more mature and the product is much better for for going out properly. So yeah, that's basically the plan after the campaign. And yeah, everything is planned with European partners for smooth logistics. Ludo, did I miss anything about that?
No,
Something else?
the only question that was frequent is if we have a plan to go beside Kickstarter after the end of the campaign. If we want to go retail, what's the plan there? And I can say that our ambition is definitely to go there as well. It's in our plans, so it's something we can tell you for now. I don't know if Thomas wants to add anything.
Not really. I mean, we are working really hard with all the suppliers, and yeah, of course, we couldn't really finalize everything before the campaign ends because we tried to adapt the product to also what the community wanted. So, for instance, the cartridge reader, and require some minor changes just to link this to a question that was just asked. The USB port exposed and available is included when you add the card reader. It's written in the description in the retrofitting paragraph at the end of it. And it's made, I mean, the only use case we are going to officially support for now, we have plans to support, is the card reader. So we don't think USB is really convenient for anything else other than charging, but charging you do via a different port. So that's different. A USB port used for charging is one thing. And the USB, which you're going to get, of course, with both the gamer and collector. But the USB port for data is the one used by the card reader only. I don't think there are other use cases that make sense with it because games you can load via SD card or wirelessly via Bluetooth and even via Wi-Fi potentially in the future. So yeah, there is no reason to use USB. In our opinion, it's also more difficult to use. There are more caveats, drivers, compatibility issues, complexities of various kind. But yeah, I've seen that there are a bunch of questions not answered, but maybe I wanted to ask first if there was anyone connected who wanted, who had the pleasure to speak and ask to enable the mic and maybe share anything, their experience, what they like about it, what they don't like about it, what they wish we could do or add as stretch goals and so on, or if you just have questions. So maybe I will leave some time to see if anyone wants to jump in.
Don't be shy.
If not, we can continue answering to the questions in the chat. There were plenty. So. Okay, so let's continue. Hi, Steve.
Oh, sorry, I turned my video off as I was talking. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
I was just going to ask, because I think it was mentioned in the questions, but it was one I was keen to hear on. I know you're doing the GBA games as well. Was there any plans to add on shoulder buttons at all? Or is it just going to be through sort of a combination of other buttons?
I was afraid this was going to be asked. So yeah,
sorry.
No, it's fine. We expected this question to be asked because also looking at the survey, it was one of the most wanted features. It was actually not the top one, but it was one of the top 3. So we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So we're not going to commit to something we cannot maintain. So what I can tell you is that right now, the compatibility with the shoulder buttons for the GBA is done via key combinations. And this is the case for also other, similar, Game Boy clones and handheld emulators. There was, many people asked to have physical buttons instead, like dedicated ones. And we are doing some tests, some like we are not fully convinced yet, but we think it's doable. We are not going to share it until it's clear that the end result will be convincing and makes sense. We don't want it to be a half-baked solution or doesn't something that compromises the design too much or that falls apart when used. So this is why we've not shared anything about it. We are not 100% convinced yet with the version we have in house, but the moment we do, and there are efforts there, so we are trying our best to do it. We are going to share an update and include it as a stretch goal or for free to the community for sure. So it's not going to be a different add-on. So many people ask for it. I know you guys want it. We also want it, but we want to deliver it, the right way or just not doing it at all. So these are the two alternatives. We are not going to ship something that is really bad. So that's the reason why we never answer to that question. Because we don't have solution yet, but we are working on it, and we think it's within reach.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate that, and it just in general, it's great. I'm very much looking forward to being able to get it and install it and tinker around because it does look like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So great work,
for sure.
guys. It looks brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Someone else? Kyle is rising.
Yeah, you're muted though. Can you enable the mic?
Thanks for the work, you guys. I'm just curious, like, what was your favorite version of the Game Boy and your favorite games that you played?
So unfortunately, I came late to the party because I was born in 1991, and my first Game Boy was Game Boy Color. And I played Pokemon Yellow. And to be honest, I still play it. So but I got significantly better. I remember the first time I played it, it took me months. Now I think last time I did with accelerated emulation, I finished it. I don't remember in how long, but surely maximum 3 hours, maybe less. Yeah. So I got better.
Matte, do you want to answer the same question?
Fine. I also came late to the party, but I really like the original. I played a lot with that different games, but to be honest, don't unpledge, please. I lose my highs playing with the Nintendo DS. Because I'm from '96, and so I played all the Mario games, all of them, and more other games, and most other games with the Nintendo DS especially. So.
Okay, I'll keep it short. I really like the games of Wario for the classic Game Boy, and then when it came to Game Boy Color, I played a lot with the Harry Potter games. So not that the most common game, but I liked it a lot.
It was successful. It was widely successful actually at the time. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
How about
there are other questions. There are other questions in the comments. So thanks, Kyle.
True.
But maybe before jumping back to the comments, let's see if there is anyone else who wants to jump in and ask. No. So feel free to raise your hand anytime if you want. But in the meantime, we can maybe continue with some questions from the comments. I would say maybe if there are not too many additional questions, we can keep going for another 20 minutes. And then if you have additional questions that are not answered, please don't get angry. Just ask that same question in the comments on Kickstarter. We know we have some backlog, so we have not answered to everyone, but we are aiming to do it in the coming days. And if it's something urgent, for example, if your pledge depends on it, and you are running out of time because of the campaign reaching its end in a week, you can always also send us a message directly. We do answer also there. So let me pick some random questions quickly though, because there are many. So maybe I will just give yes and no answers to some. So countries, delivery of countries. So we chose the main ones to make sure we didn't have problems with deliveries. There may be mistakes, meaning maybe countries where it's actually simple to ship, but they are not in the list. So if you think your country is one of those, like Serbia, I have no idea if it is simple to ship there. Maybe it is. We can do some research and include it in case the outcome is positive. So in that case, please send us a message on Kickstarter in private, so we know your username and we can keep you posted there. Because we need to do it async. So, could you discuss a little bit more the magic of the wireless buttons? Okay, so yeah, that's a good question, but it's not quick to answer. So let me just say it very quickly. So this is an example of the last iteration of one of the buttons. So this is the D-pad, right? So this is the original one. As you can see on the back, we just did a very small change. And here we added a small magnet. It's very small. It's like this size. But it's enough to trigger a couple of things. The first one, unfortunately, is regulation, meaning it's a dangerous small part. So unfortunately, this is why you see the warnings saying this is not a good fit for kids under 14. So I'm sorry, but as I said, we try to make the build as fun as possible, and your kids don't know what the Game Boy is. So we think there are some cases where retro gaming is getting traction and becoming fashionable and interesting for new generations. But we think this set was targeting mostly millennials and people that have at least twice that age. So we don't think this is going to be a problem, and we think it's going to be more fun to build for adults. And so this is like why we made this choice. And again, this was not the cheapest choice, because having a magnetometer, which is the device we use for reading the variation of the of the magnetic field, is expensive, especially if you need high precision ones, such as the one we are using. So there is, let's say, high tech and the complex software needed to detect the key presses this way. But you don't have ugly wires going everywhere. You don't have a bad mounting experience, and you don't need to get rid of, half of your super nice Lego bricks from the original set to make everything fit. So, these were our principles. And again, it means it's more expensive. It means, unfortunately, it's not a good fit for younger people, but at the same time is super cool if you are part of our target audience, meaning millennials and people who care about remembering the good times, when their life was worry-free and easier. So yeah. Let me see if there are other comments. Has there been any misreads on the inputs? Well, plenty, and we are working hard to make it more and more reliable. So for sure, don't worry about it. We are not going to ship something that is not reliable on that front. So it's possible that with some keys, for example, A and B keys, we have in the current design and the prototype, they use magnets, and they are the most problematic buttons, because the way Lego built it, they are floating and moving a little bit in all directions, which is a pity. So we are doing two things. The first one is testing some iterations where we give you custom pieces that basically avoid them floating. So it means you need to get out the original Lego piece. Maybe I can show you. It's like this one. You see, like this is the A and B button. If you look there, you see this piece? You see how much it moves? It has a magnet inside. So this gets detected correctly, but it depends on, for example, if you are moving or shaking it, it's causing other buttons to not be as reliably readable as normal. So two alternatives. Of course, we want you to be able to play and do it reliably and not to have to worry about this. So option A that we are testing is printing some dedicated pieces to avoid them moving. So it's fine. Second option, if we don't like the quality of this, is basically using some traditional, let's say, buttons built in so there will be some wires just for those buttons, but not for the others. So this is what we are trying to do, basically finding the best compromise. And right now, the prototype we have, pre-industrialization, already works. It works well with the magnetometer only. But again, it could work better under non-ideal circumstances. And we want to make sure we nail it before we start producing it at scale, of course. But there will be also software updates and stuff like that. The one you receive, of course, needs to work well. So we are not, rest assured, we prioritize it and we give it a lot of importance. So I hope this answers to your question. Camo 260. See if there is some quick one to answer.
Again, if anyone want to ask a question with the open microphone, you can.
People are asking what creators you are collaborating with. So we shipped 6 prototypes to 6 different creators. But maybe Matteo, you can say more. But unfortunately, that we have a long waiting list of people who want the prototype from creators, like tens of them from all around the world. So.
Yeah, exactly. At the beginning, we reach out to major creators on social media, but after a few days of the campaign, it was the opposite. And so we have basically waiting list of creators that we are in touch with, and we hope that we can collaborate later on. Of course, the journey doesn't end in 5 days, so there is plenty of time. At the moment, we are collaborating with an Italian creator that is called A.M.A. We are collaborating with the Brick Post, it's based in UK, and also with A.M.A, also known as the Brick Educator. We're in touch with Epic Brick, Nathan. We are in touch with magazine that is based in US. It's called Brother Bricks or Brother Brick. I don't remember if the plurals somewhere. Yes, someone else clearly, but yeah, those are the ones that recently shared the content with about BrickBoy. All of them have received the prototype and they are testing, and most importantly, also helping us improving it. Consider that they received the prototype 3 weeks ago. So, and we work every day making it better. So of course, they we are making a lot of improvement, also thanks to them. I see. Brick Science. I don't remember. Honestly, I went through a list so long of creators speaking about the Lego and collectors that I don't remember all the names. We are not in touch with Brick Science, but I will write it down and see what we can do together.
There was someone asking if like how to save their thumbs using the D-pad, right? So I think you have missed like maybe the first or one of the first updates with the stretch goal, saying we included some extra pieces to basically make it flat. It looks really nice with them on top. I don't have here on the table, but I have them here at home. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, maybe not now. But if you look online, if you look on the updates, there are pictures of it, and yeah, it looks fantastic, and it works nicely, and it's an original Lego piece again.
Also, that was suggested right by a community, like a fan of BrickBoy and a Lego builder. So yeah, we take the suggestions.
I've not understood the question asked twice by Adrian on Switzerland. What was it about? We are shipping to Switzerland.
The shipping price, if it is better. Switzerland.
Okay. We don't know yet. That's the reality of things. So on Kickstarter, thankfully, you don't have to set the exact shipping price upfront when the campaign starts, but you can set a range. So we defined a broad range, which is safe enough, basically, for the worst case scenario. The reality of things is that shipping is going to depend on many, many different things, including, most importantly, the weight, which depends also on what we include in the box, which depends in most part also on the stretch goals and on the add-ons and on a bunch of things. So it's extremely difficult to give you a reliable answer, and we don't want to just give you a random number. There are complexities also because of the lithium battery included. There are many things to factor in. We are speaking with many carriers and with intermediaries as well, who facilitate some of the complexities there. But we have not made a final decision yet on who to go with. But in any case, prices will not change much with one or the other. We want to make sure we can reach all the countries we want to ship through, and the shipping is reasonably priced. So shipping means shipping costs are basically shipping and handling. So there may be costs about I don't know, the process to prepare the paperwork needed for shipping to Burundi the lithium batteries, stuff like that, and shipping itself. But in any case, the ranges we listed, currently with the visibility we have of everything, we think they are a safe range. So I don't know if shipping to Switzerland would be cheaper, probably, since it will be domestic. So for Switzerland, since we are based there, we can take care of the import ourselves and basically ship it directly. Also, we didn't get so many orders from Switzerland, just 100, a little bit more. But let's see also because, people who are pledging during the campaign, of course, have priority. But we are going to keep selling, which was another question, also after the campaign is finished on our own store, other than on Kickstarter. So there will be surely more orders coming, or at least we hope so. that will ship after the Kickstarter ones. But so yeah, we want to make sure everyone who wants it can get their hands on one. So
I think it's better if we also discuss the question of Marco that is asking about the battery, how easy it is to replace it.
It's meant to be easy to replace. I mean, the initial design we had and still have actually has fully replaceable battery, which is easy to find. So, for example, you can replace it with a bigger one if you want to remove some extra Lego pieces, or you can buy yourself a spare one on whatever on the market, not from us, and replace it. Of course, doing it, there are some risks. You may, invert polarity. You may buy a faulty battery. You may whatever. So we cannot recommend you to do it, but of course you are free to do whatever you want with your device. And also for longevity reasons, like in case you want to replace it maybe, in 10 years or once it's dead. This is good to have. At the same time, we know that for shipping, having a battery included in an enclosure makes shipping simpler for many countries. So we are considering a design, a small variation of the design where the battery would in the end be included. We already have a test for it. But in any case, even if this was the case, you will be able to easily open the cartridge and replace the battery if you need. So don't worry about it. It's not going to be difficult to do.
Okay.
And we totally understand for longevity reasons. Yeah, I've seen the answer from Marco. Totally understandable. We also want it to be durable. So yeah, it's definitely something we're keeping in mind. Yeah, you can also use an external power bank, as someone is suggesting, of course. Totally. It's just not very nice looking to keep it powered permanently that way. So it would be better to replace the battery.
I don't think we answered about we answered the question from Camo 260. Will the software updates be manual?
I answered with a reaction, so in a very concise form. But
okay.
Yeah, so for the essential kit, which we are not selling anymore, and that we are actually like dismissing, it was not possible to do it manually because it didn't have any wireless connectivity. But for the gamer and collector that all of you have, if you don't connect Wi-Fi, you can do it wirelessly manually. But if you connect Wi-Fi, it can check itself if there are updates and do software updates, checks, and installations automatically. So it can be automated. You need to connect it to your Wi-Fi network, which both the gamer and collector mode kits support. Otherwise, if you don't want to, you can push updates manually to it via Bluetooth or via SD card.
I see that some people are leaving the call. We are going long because we are having fun. We can continue, to be honest. I just want to say before we remain the three of us, I just want to say that thank you for everyone that participated, that asked questions. As always, we really appreciate the help that you are giving to us in shaping BrickBoy better every day. So yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, if you have time, we can continue until there are no further questions. But yeah, I want to say goodbye for those that have to leave.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I think there are no unanswered questions, but maybe if anyone wants to repeat their question in case we have missed it in the comments, please do in the chat so we can address them. We still have some more minutes.
I think you guys mentioned like 100 sales in Switzerland. I'm curious the breakdown of where you were seeing the sales from, like all over the world.
I would say approximately 1/3 are from the US, 1/3 are from the EU, and 1/3 from the rest of the world, with a notable mention to the UK, which UK is approximately 10%. And then there are many, many countries with a smaller number of orders, like 20 from here, 40 from there, and so on. Japan is also quite big, actually. Unsurprisingly, because it was an extremely successful console there, right? So, but we think something we've noticed is that, especially in the EU, which is more fragmented, also from a language point of view, we got very diverse success and numbers in different countries depending on what like content creators in each community covered. Meaning some of them talked about it without even reaching out, and it sold really well. While in other countries, it seems like they didn't really know it existed. So yeah, unfortunately, I mean, this was our first Kickstarter, so we've made some mistakes. For example, we were not super familiar with the platform and what you could and could not do, and the fact add-ons, pictures cannot be added afterwards, or stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully it's just our first Kickstarter campaign, and the next one will be a little bit simpler to do, a more straightforward process. But yeah, this is how this is the beginning, I guess. How much internal memory? Oh yeah, Marco, sorry, I think you or someone else asked it earlier and we didn't answer. So so let me be extremely honest with you. Initially, we wanted to include, we didn't mention it because we didn't want to commit to it for a good reason. It was a good idea. So I know some people think the device is expensive, but actually our margin is extremely thin, is extremely low. And the SD card, the micro SD card we initially included is a high quality one, with high speed and durability, and it's 32 gigs big. So there is plenty of space for everything. That said, we are thinking to reduce it, and we are considering to reduce it because given the success that we didn't really expect, we are adding in the process many things, which as part of stretch goals, which are increasing our costs, and to the degree where it could be problematic. So we don't want it to affect the success of the campaign or our ability to deliver. So we need to understand what can be changed to reduce cost a little bit. And the SD card is a perfect fit for this for two reasons. One is that most of the space is free anyway, meaning the operating system and the system files and so on. I mean, they don't use much. It's just a few gigs, really. And most of the SD card is free. you are not going to fill so many gigs with Game Boy games. Good luck with that. It's basically impossible. And so yeah. So the one we're going to ship is probably, hopefully, I would say, for the health of our company, going to be smaller. But if you have a desire to have a bigger one, you can always, clone it to a bigger one. It's very easy. And you can use any. It's a standard micro SD card. It's exposed, so it's easy to replace. You can do it anytime. Also for longevity reason.
Oh, I have another question, if that's okay, just
Yeah, sure,
regarding the
please.
just on the SD card side. Will you provide? So I'm just thinking, I've experienced with doing pies and stuff in the past, and having issues with cards going. Will there be somewhere we could re-download the image if we was to have an issue with a card and we don't have a copy of we haven't cloned it, so to speak? Would it be possible to get access to re-image a card?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I don't see why not. Yeah, we can provide it. Totally.
I mean, I'm not suggesting that will happen because obviously you're saying it's decent quality cards. It's like I've had stuff in the past with sort of a lower quality SD card, for example, and I've lost the image, but fortunately I'd taken a backup, so it was just in
Absolutely.
case that
Absolutely.
sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, as I think we implied earlier, I think there will be plenty of mods. But yeah, the official one, we want to encourage people to make it look perfect for them. So providing the image is part of this. Like if you want to modify it, having the image is going to simplify it. For example, someone has said, are you going to, I don't know, make it possible to connect to the terminal, stuff like that? I mean, sure, why not? If you're technical and your life is going to be easier because of it, why not? Why would we restrict it? I mean, it's not in our interest. It's not in anyone's interest. So also the image is going to be useful, so we can provide it. It's justified to share, so why not? Similarly to the updates, it's going to be easy to download and preserve over time. Also, unofficially, in case our company doesn't exist anymore in 20 years and you still want it, right? So maybe someone will see it on a torrent.
That's great. Thank you.
Camo ask about the way to scale resolution in the arcade mode.
I mean, the HDMI output has a fixed resolution. Theoretically, it can be changed, of course, but there is a reason why it is fixed. And it's basically because of the way we are mirroring it to the internal display for high FPS. So the scaling of the resolution is currently something that RetroArch manages, meaning there are configuration params for the different supported backends of libretro, which is basically the emulators supported within RetroArch. So scaling is done there. This should be good enough for most use cases, but if there are some where you think this is not okay, let us know. Thank you.
Then a question to create a community on Discord. We haven't discussed it yet, but
if there is demand for it, why not? Yeah.
It's a good idea. Maybe not in these days, but
yeah, maybe after the campaign. Yeah, let's discuss it. Also because we have some ideas for the community, which would be easier with Discord. Yeah. Can there be an upgrade on the size of the screen a little bigger? I knew it. So guys, it was really difficult to fit this display in the Lego in the space available without changing too much. So maybe it's not impossible. I'm just saying we didn't have enough time to find a bigger screen that could fit. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's really hard. But yeah, maybe in the future we can try harder. But the size of the screen actually is a bit misunderstood because surprisingly, the Game Boy Classic and Color had, the Color had a smaller screen than the Classic. So it had more colors, but it was a smaller screen. And our screen, while of course, the design is the one of the Classic, our screen is like it is a color screen, of course, with backlight as well, which the original Game Boy didn't have. So it is sized very similarly. It's almost one-to-one with the color screen size. So it's not like the original; it's a bit smaller. But please don't focus on that aspect because it has the backlight, which is very convenient to use, and it has many colors. So it's a compromise. It's a compromise. Also, we don't know how to make a bigger one fit, but it's probably possible with a little bit more time. We have not slept. We have not slept much since the campaign launch. Also because surprise, I had a newborn a couple of weeks ago, which wasn't really planned with this exact timeline. And as I was not the one choosing when Lego had to launch the Lego Game Boy. So many sleepless nights for many different reasons. But I'm here, and it's almost 11 p.m. here. So yeah, please be kind. Thanks, everyone.
Maybe one more question on the question that Sebastian asked.
Yeah, just to answer Sebastian, I think it was also a pity. So I want maybe to add something to how, Matteo, you described our team, because sure, it's the three of us, but it's not really. I mean, we are part of a bigger company. We are software developers for the most part, and we normally work on very complex topics around cybersecurity, crypto, and so on. A bunch of stuff. We have also worked on electronics in the past. Many of us have this background. The GitHub, open source, we released a bunch of open source software over the last 10 years or something. So our company is more recent, but people that are in our team, most of us released a huge amount of software, also a successful one on GitHub over the years. So sure, we love open source software. We are going to release on GitHub some parts, not everything, but we are looking to share some pieces that we think could facilitate mods, and we are going to do everything in our power to make sure the community of modders is happy and capable of delivering alternative experiences based on our hardware. So yeah.
Actually, it will be a great success if modders are able to do their what they want to do on BrickBoy, right? So okay. I would say that we can wrap up this first Ask Me Anything. I think I'm very satisfied with it. I hope everyone is it as well. If you have further questions, you have the ways to ask us. You can drop a message on Kickstarter, write a public comment, write us an email, reach us on social media. We are trying to be very active on all the platforms. So yeah,
Maybe soon
If
Discord
anything
as
came to
well.
your mind, maybe soon on Discord as well. We will maybe it's better instead of opening another channel to at a certain point converge most of the communication on Discord. Indeed,
Keep in mind this was recorded, so we'll be sharing it soon, probably tomorrow, with an update. So in case you join late, don't worry. You can like replay it, rewatch it tomorrow. Thanks again, everyone.
And share BrickBoy with your friends because you can play together with them in our multiplayer
Mode. And that's true. We didn't say about it.
Thanks everyone, guys, for the good questions
Thanks
and
a
for your
lot.
support. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.